Good day to each and everyone, most special to our gorgeous instructor, Mom. So today I'm about to discuss the Taungya system. The Taungya system was used primarily as an inexpensive means of establishing timber plantations. This is a form of agroforestry system in which short-term crops are grown in the early years of the plantation of a woody perennial species. So when we say in a Burma word meaning, when we say tong, it is a hill and dia is a cultivation. So when we say Taungya system, part gihapon ni siya sa agroforestry system in which ang short-term crops kahit taparan siya tanom nga kanang bitaw nga pangdugay, pang matagalan nga a kind of perennial species. So this is also a system of forest management in which land is cleared and planted initially to food crops. So as you can see in the picture, that there's a tree crops and there's a rose there, and that is planted a food crop. So as you can see, from tree crops to food crops, but only side by side by the forest. History of Taungya system. So the Taungya is a Burmese word coined in Burma in 1850. So the system was introduced to India by Brandis in 1890, and the first Taungya plantation were raised in 1896 in North Bengal. It was introduced in South Africa in 1887 and was taken in Chittagong, now in Bangladesh, in 1870. So in India, North Bengal started in 1896, and in 1890 it was introduced to Coorg in Karnataka. So in the Philippines, the Taungya system is practiced as part of the PICOP or PICOP project at Bislig on the island of Mindanao. It's look like the same as in the other country, but side by side gyapon siya sa side by side gyapon from trees crop to food crops, then row, then another tree crops na pod. So in Philippines, so side by side also with the palm trees, result is not only increase agricultural production as a whole, but also increase the sa mga income sa mga farmer. So their purpose there is to sell or to increase the agricultural production, but also to help the farmer to increase their income. Objectives of Taungya system. Number 1 is a growing tree crops at a lesser cost. Taungya system major food and income. To utilize the land to control weeds, reduce establishment costs, generate early income, stimulate the development of the perennial species to prevent soil erosion. Because growing a tree crops at a lesser cost, because the way of tree crops are lesser cost, the way sab ang food production increases. Just because ang tree crops kasi is 10 years, no? 10 years and more compared to food production, kasi ang food production is 3 to 6 months. Pwede na siya ma-harvest, pwede na siya ma-sell. So much better to sell kasi mabawi ang food production, mas dakong ma-sell ang food production compared sa tree crops. Taungya system major food and income just because more on food production than a perennial species. In the most of us, no, ang major of income kasi is a food production. So it's more increases or more sales in food production than tree crops. To utilize the land to control weeds, just because the way you plant trees, or the food crops are grown, so wala jud siya mabuhi nga sagbot. There are no weeds growth when we plant tree crops or food crops. Reduce establishment costs. Generate early income kasi it depends on food production. Sometimes nara siya 3 months to 4 months, no? Like what I have said before, ang food crops compared to tree crops, much better to sell a food crops then mabawi sab nato ang gastos compare sa tree crops. Pero lang sa mga kaning rubber, kaya ang rubber case ang tree crops kay pwedeng sa tree crops kay pwede man ang rubber kasi every month man ang rubber every month. To prevent soil erosion. So there are types of Taungya system. Number 1 is a departmental Taungya system, list Taungya system, and village Taungya system. So, in departmental Taungya system, the agricultural crops and plantation are raised by the forest department by employing daily paid laborers. Kasi in departmental Taungya system, no, ang departmental Taungya system is part gyapon na siya sa agroforestry system. Yeah. So in departmental kasi is example sa kumpanya gikan ang crops. So pwede nila ginasuhulan ang mga labors as long as they are permitted. So not only in the outside of the country, but I think here in the Philippines also, kasi if you're not permitted, you can't work. So in the other country, by there, no, in their departmental, so from ang crops kay from agroforestry system, no? So ilang laborers kay ilang gina-daily paid. So their main aim of raising agricultural crops along with the plantation is to keep down weed growth. So their aim is to para wala yung mga sagbot nga kaning mga mangtubo. So another is lease Taungya system. The plantation land is given on lease to the person who offers the highest money for raising agricultural crops for a specific number of years and ensures care of tree plantation. Sa lease Taungya system, guys, kay mursyag slot. It's look like mursyag ipautang, mursyag gipautang bitaw sa kung asay mas dakog offer, kung asay mas dakog rate, dito nila ginasell. Kasi yes, dito nila gisell just because para mabawi sab. So kung asay mas dakong rate, dito nila gina-offer. So next is, and last is, village Taungya system. So under this, the people who have settled down in a village inside the forest for this purpose raise crops. So usually each family has about, example, 0.8 to 1.7 hectare of land, has raised trees and cultivate crops for 3 to 5 years. So in 3 types of Taungya system, so ang village Taungya system lang ang most successful of these three types of Taungya system, just because ang village Taungya system kasi if katong mga na-settle down na silang village, no, example na sila area of 0.8 to 1.7 hectare, so usually they have right to cultivate, they have right to sell because nanatanom na sa ilahang yuta. So dili na nila ginasusuban, pwede na sila na mo cultivate silang kaugalingon nga crops. So trees and crops grown in Taungya system. So actually guys, as you can see, it's for state lang ako gikuha, but the truth is daghan jud na siya, but I only choose, no. So example, in the state of Tamil Nadu, so the three crops grown in that is cashew, rubber, and bamboo. So the agriculture crops that grown in Tamil Nadu is millet and groundnut. So in the state of Kerala, there are Tectona grandis, and the agricultural crop ginger and turmeric paddy. Then in West Bengal, Tectona grandis, and the agricultural crop is paddy, maize, pineapple, and millets. So in the state of Karnataka is Tectona grandis, and in agricultural crops, paddy and tapioca. So actually, like what I have said before, that this is not only the three crops are grown in Taungya system, but sometimes kasi it depends, kasi ang iba is in Philippines here, in Philippines, there are three crops. There is their crop is poultry, no? They poultry, but they also want to in Philippines kasi dili lang basta nga para mag-increase ang ilang agricultural crops production as a whole, but they are also increase income sa mga farmer. So that's why, so naipurpose ang Philippines, not only the agricultural production but the income of farmer. So in the Taungya system kasi guys, in the Taungya system kasi, in the other country, they plant three crops, then they make a row of food crops, because their purpose there is double purpose yan guys, double purpose, just because ang three crops kasi, like what I have said before, that 10 years lang. So 10 years lang, so dugay pa, like sa rubber, no, pila ba na ka years ang sa rubber. So their purpose there is, since the way sila nga maghulat silang to harvest the tree crops, they plant also in food crops, just because like what I have said, that 3 to 6 months lang ang food crops. So much better, so mas dugay ma-harvest ang pila na lang in every year. Putang na to in 1 year, makapila sila makasell. Putang na to in 1 year, kay makaduha makasell, makaduwag mabaligya, makaduwag makaharvest og food crops. Advantages of Taungya system. So artificially, regeneration of the forest is done at a cheaper rate. Problems of unemployment are solved. Helps toward maximum utilization of land. In every case, highly remunerative to the forest department. Low-cost method of forest plantation establishment. Because, guys, not only in the, sa mga example kasi, sa mga walay work, pwede sila mo part-time, basta kay dasig lang, as long as, basta forest, you're good, or not only in good, basta kay, you're interested in forest-related activities. Pwede ka makasulod dira, pwede ka mag-work, no? So, the land helps towards maximum utilization of land, just because there's a lot of since by rows and side by side, they plant side by side of the forest, no, can give maximum utilization of land. In every case, highly remunerative to the forest department, and low-cost method of forest plantation establishment. So there are disadvantages of Taungya system. Create some legal issues. It is a form of exploitation of human labor. Danger of epidemic. Susceptibility of land to accelerated erosion increases. Loss of soil fertility and exposure of soil. So In Taungya system kasi guys, not only to solve the problem of unemployment, but being beautiful and giving shade to our environment. They provide the habitats for birds, insects, and other animals, and also they are essential for the production of oxygen. And that's all, and thank you.